the Community Development and Wellbeing Committee. It's fitting we hold this meeting today in Pahiatua, a small town that holds a significant place in New Zealand's history of compassion and community support. It was here in 1944 that we welcomed 733 young Polish refugees, offering them safety and belonging in the midst of a world at war. We reflect on community then and also now as volunteers led by the Pahiatua Museum worked so hard to hold the hugely successful and moving 80th anniversary celebrations over the weekend, including Councillor Ellie Franklin, who contributed so much on behalf of Council and her community within the organising committee. So we will start off with apologies. I have one from Councillor Wards. Is there any other apologies? Just to note, we have the usual chair of the meeting, Councillor Alison Franklin and Councillor Steve Wallace joining us online. Councillor Franklin and Councillor Wallace, if you have any questions, if we have a presentation up, please feel free to send a text message. Through to the address and sure.
Thanks, Scott. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem there. Welcome all.
Thank you very much, guys. So we have one apology for Councillor Woods. Today someone moved and that apology is accepted. Mayor Tracy, Councillor Sutherland. All those in favour, please say aye. Against? Carried. I have not been notified of any public forum. Is there any items not on the agenda? Yes, to be known. We'll move on to declarations of conflicts of interest. Are there any conflicts of interest to declare? Deputy Mayor. As noted. Any other conflicts? Thank you very much. Let's jump on to confirmation of minutes. Our minutes were all circulated, so are there any amendments to the minutes? There appears to be none. Could I get someone to please move that the minutes held on the 4th of September 2024 as circulated be confirmed as a true and accurate record of the meeting. Moved by Councillor Johns, seconded by Councillor Sutherland. All those in favour, please say aye. Motion carried. And sorry, I've just noted there that Councillor Franklin had her hand up. Councillor Franklin.
Oh, no, thank you, Councillor Scott. No, I was just going to move the motion.
Oh, sorry, we couldn't quite hear you, Councillor Franklin.
Oh, sorry about that. No, I was just going to move the motion. That was all, but I wasn't quick enough.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. Ellie, look at it. Thank you all very much for that. We're going to move on to presentations. Our first presentation that we have is the Pahiatua Community Plan. So I'd like to invite Ali Romanos up to the table.
Thank you, Councillor Gilmore. I might hand out a copy to everyone. I've got 100 of them, so very right. Thanks, Ali. Can I have a seat here?
Yeah.
Thank you. The D-Day for Pahiatua Community Plans here. Happy day. It's been long work in progress with huge support and commitment by Kimberly. So thank you, Kimberly, for your work on this and beautifying our plan. I was a bit disturbed to see the Northwood plan today, which looks just as good. Which we can say, so we're giving some good inspiration for our next version of the plan. So I don't want to just read to the plan because it's all there for you. I think what it really is, it's put to us as I suppose the directive of council that this is a matter that all the communities within Tararua would implement. I think the advantage for Pahiatua at least is that there's always been a pretty good structure in place and involvement and motivation of individuals for a long time. I've already been in Pahiatua for 3 years, been on Explore Pahiatua virtually since I arrived. But I mean, before my time, I know Cynthia Cass and Shirley Hull and then Louise Power for a very long time have really led Pahiatua very well in our sort of project space. So it was quite a soft landing for me coming into this community. And it's funny the way Pahiatua operates because we have our information centre which sort of plugs gaps which Explore Pahiatua doesn't fill. And the history of Explore Pahiatua being before that Pahiatua on track and merging with the Main Street committee with the community board and how that came to be. So so it doesn't matter where we've come from, it's where we are now. And where we are now is that we're a town with good resources and projects that have already been completed. And what we have here is essentially a roadmap for us to not only as a committee to keep front and centre of what we're working on, also something for us to be able to put for stakeholders, funding applications and such, and it's a bit of promotional material for the town. You know, a little bit of hey, we're doing some good things here, and we can point to them, and they look beautiful in print. So that's really cool. Just noting some of our projects. I mean, this is it's a moving piece here because it's like the American Constitution. It's a living document. Some would say. Very timely. The projects on page 15, we have a summary of the projects we're working on, and these projects are at various stages of completion. Some of them have actually been completed since this was printed. So we have the Polish Memorial Rest Area upgrade. Well, we're having parts of that have been already completed with the boards, with the information boards, with the 80th commemorations over the weekend. And then we've had, since this, one of our projects is to pay to a youth centre renovation, which is no longer going ahead because Tararua Community Youth Services has had to close its branch in Pahiatua. So there's a question for us all what we're going to do with the building, which will be in our community committee meeting tonight. But some of the projects are very long-term projects, like the Treasure Carnival Park project, where we're working with the Treasure Carnival Park Committee and DOC to regenerate pest control and weed control of this space. We've got very different projects. A more short-term project with constructing a dog park, turning Rotary Park into Rotary Dog Park. The community garden right behind you, and that's virtually complete now. We're almost at a stage of it's sort of set and forget. Putting on a gardener because you don't set and forget. The swimming pool is, as we know, there might not be space in the ground, but that's a project which Explore Pahiatua is very keen interest in. And yeah, and so these are the projects which we are currently working on ultimately, and then as with Norsewood, I'll start doing on the last page of the page 25 in the Pahiatua community plan. We've just got a few projects that are being, it's a whiteboard, a brainstorming place for people to be able to submit ideas for what we might want to do. I do feel intimidated because Norsewood's got almost near the second page of different projects, and we've only got 4, but nonetheless, something to, the challenge has been set down by Norsewood, so that's good. Yeah, I don't really have anything more to say on it in that respect. I'm happy to answer any questions anyone may have or endeavour to, and if you ask questions that are too difficult, I'll pivot to Kimberly and try and seek her input.
Well done, Ellie. Thank you very much. And we'll open up to questions in a second. Before we start, a huge thank you to all of Explore Paihia Tour. One, for the significant amount of work that's gone into create this community plan. So I've been privileged enough to attend some meetings where this has been discussed, and I know it's taken a huge amount of time and effort. But most importantly, the projects that are within it. You know, a really key thing that we talk about a lot of, for us to have nice to have things in our community that are driven by community volunteers like Explore Paihia Tour. So I just wanted to give our committee's thanks to you and to all of the committee for their work. Open up to any questions.
Let the cross-examination begin.
I have one from Metro.
Thanks, Stephen, more and more of a comment if I could, but an incredible document, but also progress in seeing some of those projects are already near completion, and your ability to get those projects moving and still have new ones coming on board is really to be commended. And the Explore Paihia Tour has got years and years of success stories. So just a congratulations on that. And even how, you know, when you look at the Regent Theatre and then you look at the painting and just that network of things that are always happening within Paihia Tour. And there's just those, you know, that understanding of the community. I think it's a great document for people to be able to pick up, see what's been achieved, actually what they can be involved in, and also a place that, you know, they can come through with ideas as well. So and to Explore Christmas, you know, was hugely successful last year, and you know, I know the preparations for that this year.
Well, Louise Power's not involved, so we're all very terrified
So thank you.
Excellent. Councillor Jones.
Thank you, Chair Gilmore. Yeah, Ali, tell me, how did you consult with community? What level of consultation was it?
So we had the formal consultation at the school Christmas. We had a tent, and we, Kimberly and Colin and myself was parked up there, pulling people in if they weren't stopping, wondering what we were about, discussing with them. Also, our committee, because we're such a localised community, we do tend to discuss it with, you know, things that projects that are happening in our community. I don't believe we did a huge Facebook drive specifically in respect to the community plan. There was comments that we should put a draft plan up and such. I don't believe we did that because the projects were all quite well defined and some of them quite well entrenched. And frankly, it was sort of what we thought we were probably best placed to determine what should go into the plan as the committee, who are, you know, across the various projects. More broadly, we do our committee members, you know, we come from all areas of Paihia Tour life. A lot of us are with school communities, parents of kids at schools and kindies, working in various big and small industries in Paihia Tour. So I like to think that we try and get a good cross spectrum of what people are wanting. And we do open up things up on Facebook. Facebook can be quite challenging when issues of controversy arise, something like the Harvard plane and things like that. So we try and keep a sort of level-headed, reasonable approach to it, in terms of, you know, what's necessary in terms of community consultation, because at the same time, you know, we are in the position as the committee members to sort of make decisions and guide things as best we can, rather than just being a sort of open forum referendum on every point that committee that the town might undertake.
I'd like to start. I'm one of the councillors that thinks we have to consult far too much with the community at large, and it's largely a waste of time most of the time, but it's unfortunately it's a legal requirement. But I think you got it right.
Thank you.
Thanks for your comments, Councillor Jones. Councillor Long.
Through you, Chair, Councillor Gilmore. Ali, a lot of work and effort has gone into it. It looks good and also thank you to all those involved in doing this report presentation. And the question is, the new pool, the sum of 5 million, is that correct? And when's the start?
The sum, I think, anticipated cost 6.1 million. I believe since this was printed, there has been the GST regulation. So I'm not sure whether that's, no, I don't think that this actually accommodates that, hence the briefing document.
Yep.
Yeah, so, you know, and the pool, so it still sits as a special project within Sport Party Tour because we have the Bush Aquatic Trust separate, and we've had Louise Powick as a trustee of that, and now Raylene Treaters is sort of reporting back on that. In Sport Party Tour, we don't have a direct involvement, I think we'd be fair to say, in terms of the fund. We do support it with our buyer block and such, but yeah, it sort of devolved to the Bush Aquatic Trust. It sort of does come within our purview a little bit like Carnival Park.
It'd be fair to say, thank you very much for that, Ali. Councillor Long, when we get further down our agenda, we'll have a look at capital projects. The pool is now one of council's capital projects, so we'll be able to ask some information about that. We'll seek some further clarification as well.
Thank you, Chair.
Excellent. Any other questions for Ali? Councillor Stockman.
Thanks, Chair Scott. Just a comment really, Ali. I think this is a great visualisation for the community. So I think it's really the way to go. And so much happens that and people are coming up with ideas and thinking ahead. But this I think will be very advantageous, very supportive. The community's going ahead actually. So thank you. 100% from me.
I think it's also very good for the welcome packs and things that we're looking through the towns are that the QR codes and the links, and as when you go to town, you don't really know what's going on. If you might be community minded and interested in getting involved, or there's a nice sort of starting point. So, also, I thought it was important when we did this that we wanted a committee photo, which is now our only other day, because the community was really this, but just put some in a small town, you'll see these faces and you know, this James DeVoe, there he is, working at a beacon. So yeah, we didn't want to be too anonymous about it.
Very, very nice. Any final questions to Ali? Ali, thank you again very much for coming along. Thank you for giving up time out of your business to come and to meet with us as well, but congratulations.
Thank you.
And just to take that, thank you to your committee. Thank you very much for supporting the Polish ATF.
So thank you. So,
you are fine to stay or go, completely up to you.
I think I might just come here to Northwood.
Yes, you're very welcome.
Getting the hard copies out of
No problem. Thanks, Kimberly. While we wait for that, and thank you again, Ali. We are very privileged today because we have a second community plan to have a look at and to discuss. So I'd like to invite up Phil Grant and John Ellison from the Northwood community.
Kimberly's giving our plan.
Hot off the press.
Very hot, Chris. And you'll hear some kudos on how much work she's put in, or how much work there in Holland. So yeah, it's thank you very much for welcoming us along from the other Hebrides, the Northern Hebrides. I will start without it. This goes back a long way. Yeah, one of the projects that I personally am working on is the Heritage Trail, and we are known as Northwood Heritage Village, and that is keeping me involved. You know, so I'm very proud to be part of it. Very proud to be working with the council on this as well, because back in Mark Maxwell's days, you know, talking about having administration hubs and all those sort of things can actually still come, and they're seeded enough that we can put them in our little sticky notes, and I think that should be on there. We all know that small communities struggle with You know, changing population and it's, you know, what's the dairy day called? What's the 1st of June?
Gypsy Day.
Gypsy Day, yeah, you know, so how do we get some of these new people that may only be here for 2 or 3 years or a shorter term involved, and a document such as this is just phenomenal. I never saw it coming, and I think it ties in very, very well with what the council has done with the funding training for small communities. And logically, you know, rather than going and say, hey Raj, rather than going and saying, Raj, you know, can we have this? Can we have that? We've got this that we can actually go to these, you know, the funders that are associated with council, and they know who we are. I love Pioneer Tours having the photos in there, but the challenge is that moving committee. You know, it's yeah. So anyway, I'm not going to go on and on and on with it, but it's we're very proud. So we've got a few projects, as you know, as you're about to see if you go through and you know, capturing treasures and getting that data stored as one, the Heritage Trail, which we believe will become one of Tararua's tourist attractions. We know that Mount Bruce and Tui, and of course New Zealand Natural Clothing, the Wapwap's are tourist attractions, but having the trail showing what was there and what is there now has proven to be very valuable. We've done some school visits where Eva and I basically walked around and shown the kids playing paddocks. They were very excited when there was a goat in there. But if there's a sign there showing a picture of an old Lutheran church instead of a goat, it hopefully will give that connection and the parents something to look at as well. How we're going to roll that out? We're actually going to do some trials in the wetland with signage. It's a private place, and we're not going to have too many issues with, you know, putting it outside somebody's house that may not agree. So we'll do some testing, see how that goes. Invite those people that live in those spaces or working in those spaces to see if this is okay to put in front of their building. Come for a walk around the wetland, and that's our trial. So we've got a new James and Kelly have just moved to the region from Ongonga. He was actually part of the CHB District Council. Him and I are actually going to be working very heavily on creating the signage for the Wapwap's Wetland Park associated to the Heritage Trail. So that's how we're going to try and roll it out without, you know, asking permission from the council every time we want to put a sign in the ground. And when I say we put a sign in the ground, we're actually talking about mobile signs as well. We're talking about the ones that we use at the moment with a totra post and a 45-degree angle with a piece of reinforcing steel on the bottom stuck in the ground. Now, if it's in the way, we can shift it for a mile, or we can, if it's vandalised or whatever, we can actually replace it very simply. So we're thinking number 8 wire with this project. And I've cut the cost of that project right back to about $6,000. So yeah, the Viking Longhouse, that's a big one. We don't have a hall. The hall that we did have was gone, was sold privately and demolished. The War Memorial Hall, John, how many people can fit in there? 40, 50 maybe. So the background for the Viking Longhouse was that Scandinavian heritage link. And with Eva and Jamie having Norwegian connection, all the plans that have been already drawn by Norwegians, we believe that is really worth getting behind. It's a big one, and we know how hard that will be to get underway and fund and all those things, but we're prepared to give it a nudge if we can get more people involved and more people on board. Improved connectivity. Alison and Sharon were part of the original Connect Tararua. It's still a little bit Groundhog Day, like we haven't seen any bulldozers yet. So we just so you know, we lost our cell phone coverage endorsement to an arson attack about 2 years ago, and basically we feel like we lost a human right
It has really wide effects on the community, right from health right through. So that's part of this plan, and we want it in there and like play to tick it off and leave those projects like the part of the Kai that we have already ticked off, leave it in there so that these new people that we're trying to bring in can see that roadmap that we've actually created and what we've actually already achieved. So, yeah. Don, you want to jump in and say something? Otherwise, I'll just.
Sometimes easier for a small community to do things rather than large communities. We have lots of small community groups, of course, in our area. So we cover a big field, and we're just not all heritage is the important thing as well. And and certainly invite more ideas from the wide community that they may wish to put in here, and of course, because it's a living document.
And talking about these ideas, and you know, we've got a page for them, and we'll keep that page full. Some will drop off. 1 in 10 ideas is a good one, you know that, and you know, 1 in 10 of those will actually get through the plan. I know the question was asked how we actually went about getting this information, and again, it was actually a council initiative. Hey, you know, let's have a hooey and get some people along and stick some sticky notes up, and it doesn't matter what's written on them, we'll just go through them and we'll agree on what needs to go further forward. And I think that is really the essence. Yes, these are underway or they've been ticked off or whatever, but in here is, I think, the exciting part. And if we get the heritage trail going on and we get our cell tower up and we the longhouse starts going underway, these will then start, oh, actually I could do that. You know, I'm inspired looking out the window at that garden, and on Monday night at our council, at our promotion meeting, we mentioned one of the ladies, Jackie, said, I really want to do one of those community gardens. Okay, well, let's, you know, get it on here, get you as the captain, the leader of it, and get it going on. So yeah, very proud, and thank you, Kimberly. You were out of the room when I started, so thank you very much for the work you put into this and the patience you've had with Jamie Hughes and I being busy and work and trying to, you know, get us pinned down, and of course using Paetua as an example there. But I think, and I was sitting over there and you know, great presentation, Ali, and then I thought, how can we cooperate together with our plan, and also marking each village, if you like, town, sorry, you know, we're a village, you're a town, I guess. You know, looking at what you've got in yours, people in Northville don't know that. People probably don't get in the car, they'll drive to Palm, or they'll drive to Waikato or whatever. But why don't you drive to Paetua? Because it's really just down the road, and look what it's got. So if we can actually market some of your stuff, and of course we want you to market us, you know, that's what I see also being added into here. Then we'll talk about the funding. Again, this is crucial. You know, I'd love to look up to the Lotteries Commission with this in my hand and say, look, you know, we need a hand here. You know, what else can you provide? What do we need to look at for some of these sticky note projects? How far do we need to go looking for funding? How early do we need to go? And what can we get funding for? Because the administration or the might have to hire somebody, might have to hire a consultant for some of this stuff. I don't know. So, excellent. That's what have you got to say?
Brilliant. Again, thanks so much, Phil. I know you were talking about hearing the Paetua was ahead, but I know that your plan right from the start was used as a bit of an example. You know, you hit the ground running quite early. You have a community that has a history of delivering some really great things. So seeing those in paper form and online is going to be really powerful. So on behalf of our community as well, thank you both and to your whole group for everything that you've been doing. Thank you very, very much for coming along, travelling here. So happy meeting in Pahia tour. Usually it would have been a slightly shorter trip for you, but we're really grateful. But you're happy to take some questions, gentlemen? I'll start off with Councillor Jones.
Thanks, Chairman Scott. Yeah, thanks, Bill. John, got an idea for you, if you haven't already done it.
We should be worried.
What a great promotion for IKEA to do a flat pack for the Longhouse.
Let that one pass.
Yeah. Right, worldwide promotion for them. They do it at the right price.
Chance to mobile furniture. So,
Yeah. You know,
no, listen, that's a great idea. Getting somebody like that behind something like this would be more powerful than lotteries commission
yeah.
or Eastern Central. Yeah, well done. Yeah.
Very good. Any other questions? Deputy Mayor.
Thanks, guys. It's both committees. It's great to see, like the enthusiasm and what's been put into this, and it does take a long time to work with the community and bring the ideas forward. I just want to make a comment. But some of these things that you've got on the back, it's good to see just little things, like they're not. You could get, like you said, you just get a champion in the community to work on these little projects, and some of the things don't cost a lot of money. So it's good to see little things as well as the big vision of what you guys want to create in Northwood. Yeah, it's great. Keep it up.
Any other questions or comments? Tracy.
I just wanted to acknowledge the hard work you've done, but with the Longhouse, when you first started the Viking Festival and seeing the large numbers of visitors that come through, it's always one for me of how do we leverage what's going on in one town and with other businesses as well, because that was just phenomenal to have, 2,500 people through on the first day. And again, for small towns, too, have just had, an incredible number of people through it with the 80th anniversary. But for Northwood, that takes an entire town to service all the food and everything else. So you certainly have got, again, that really credible committee structure, and you've made projects happen very, very successfully in those smaller communities. I can tell you that your town will go ahead. I do have that information from the chief executive. I know you want to see a bulldozer now, and I totally get that. But Northwood's got an awful lot of history and heritage there that you've been telling the story over many, many years, and I think that those successes are really starting to come through, and it is certainly on the map. So well done again for being small, but certainly achieving far, far more. Really, really positive.
Now, can I just give John Allison support for, he's actually been our chair before, as I have, and we were actually on a bit of a hiding to nothing as far as getting committee members, and John has stepped into the chair again. He does not live in Northwood anymore. He lives in Napier, and some sort of a farm in Northwood. But thank you, John, so much for taking the lead. We're going to support him as much as we can, and try and gather some more people to come and give us a hand with this. And the little ideas are the future of that, and getting those people just involved a little bit. And the school, I must comment that we've got 3 of our committee are school, including the head, sorry, Angela, and Alana and Jackie, and it's very it's very good that the likes of John has come all this way to be with us today as well. He is the historian that we need to really keep involved, and that Heritage Village label is what is our driver, if you like. We got split down the middle, north to south, north to north, and things like that are actually hard to manage. But with a thing like this, and the Heritage Trail may actually help connect that, bring the troll stroll back, bring the health walk back, all of those things, and get people moving and involved and understand what was there and why it was there and why it's not there now.
we're very pleased to have the council and support from the council, and it certainly helps us keep going really.
Absolutely. I'm going to go to Councillor Franklin and then Mayor Tracy. So, Councillor Franklin.
Thank you, Chair Scott. Welcome, Phil. Nice to see you. I just wanted to wave the flag a little bit more and say that, 3 weeks ago we did hear from the RCG that they have received the consent for the Northwood site, and that was the biggest hurdle I think that we've got over yet. And they are still saying all on schedule for build and livening before Christmas, but in brackets, all going well. And we all know what that means, don't we? But it is coming. So thank you for your patience. It's been a long, long journey. And I think we're finally getting there, which for the people of Northwood, which is a real victory. Thanks.
Councillor Franklin. Mayor Tracy.
Thanks, Chairman. Firstly, it's wonderful to hear you embracing the trials. You turned
Half the
around.
population like them, half don't.
You turned. The other question I was going to ask is just around, I know it wasn't, we've discussed it before, and especially with John's relationship, and for anyone here that doesn't know, John actually has a medal from the King of Norway and a very close relationship with the Norwegian people. But I just wondered, Pahiatua has a twin town, Kishimu's Donley, which is developing out, but is there still the desire from the community to seek a twin town for Northwood?
Can I answer, or do you want to? I would say yes, and it needs to go in.
We can in Norwegian resident Eva deal with some of those things. But
Yes.
it's really difficult to get off the ground. So
Yeah.
we have to look at the pros and cons and the relationships and what can you do for each other, those sort of things. And it's important that you have somebody that's really keen and really drive to keep it up. Really.
Can we nominate Mayor Tracy as our stakeholder in the twin town?
Is Eva still here?
No, Eva unfortunately has gone back to Norway. So Eva has been living in Northwood every 6 months for 14 years. They own property, they pay rates. But through immigration's policy, through COVID, things got, and this goes back to Eva not actually applying for residency. I employed her. Employed her as I've lost the words.
They try to spell it up.
Cultural advisor. We were sitting there one day and, what can we do to keep Eva here? And it was one of the ladies that was just cultural advisor. So straight on the internet we went, there's 100 odd jobs on there, but none for Norwegians. So that's what we went. Immigration smirked a little bit and went, okay, then we'll give it 3 years. We went back to reapply, and it's a change of government and things got a lot tougher. The fees are very high, so we actually invested a lot of money to get her here. They could not see a reason for her to stay. Interestingly enough, though, she got a phone call just after she was told that she couldn't stay, saying, hey, but you'll be back in 12 months, won't you? On a visitor's permit, basically. And she said, well, yes, I guess so, if I'm welcome that way. The only challenge we have is to make sure that she isn't compensated somehow. We'll still work out how she doesn't work or be compensated for work. So, yeah, she will be back. Unfortunately, that's cost us the Viking Festival and the Country Carnival and all the market days that we hold. It's sad, but we'll number while through this and we'll work out how we can actually get it back. She's prepared to do 2026 Viking Festival. She will be here for that. And all of her supporters of the Wellbeing Festival are really keen for her to do so. Northwood's biggest challenge for that, of course, is accommodation. There's an opportunity, I think, for other people that have accommodation for us to actually hinge off that for these type of events and make sure that we do that rather than send them off to Pastoral or Napier or whatever.
You might have done your time. You think you might have done your time?
Oh,
You got
no,
time scale on us?
I'll just double check. Is there any other final questions or comments? Thank you both, Phil and John, for giving up your time coming along and sharing some of that story. It's a really important part of this committee that we are hearing these stories. But this goes further than just us. These, the Pahiatua one, the Northwood one, I know the other towns are close behind. These are a really important way for our district to share our story. I also just want to give special acknowledgement and thanks to Kimberly. I've seen firsthand Kimberly's tenaciousness in getting the community groups to be working on these plans. This is a real testament to the work that you've put in, so thank you very much. Excellent. Thanks very much, gentlemen. Thank you. Okay, we're going to move on to reports. So first up, we have the Bush Multi-Sports Trust annual report, and I believe that we've got Bex and Jared who will be coming up. So welcome. Thank you very much, Jared.
Well, just ko Rebecca Tapu, ingoa no asatani o te tipuna, I te noho o te Pahiatua. So I'd just like to acknowledge Mayor and Deputy Mayor, councillors and other members here today. I'd like to take that this report is read, but also on behalf of the Bush Multi-Sports Trust Board, thank you for having us here today. We really appreciate the relationship and support between both the Bush Multi-Sport Trust and the Tararua District Council, and we look forward to continuing this for many years to come. So as we explored the achievements of Bush Multi-Sport Trust over the past year, highlighting our commitment to fostering sport and recreation and other activities in the Tararua District, particularly in Pahiatua. Just like to also thank you once again for all your work that and all your funding that you put behind us as well. So I'd just like to highlight on our initiatives that's been supported by the Tararua District Council, local businesses and community members that have led us to significant improvements in our parks facilities. We've also showcased our collaborations with Sportman or Two and the Tararua Recreation Advisor, which has been instrumental in increasing our park usage and providing diverse recreational opportunities and more. So a few things I'd just like to highlight is that we're maximising our community engagement by offering diverse range of sporting and non-sporting activities. This year we successfully hosted the Tararua 7-a-side competition alongside Sports Manawatu and Sport Tararua. This is huge for us. This is one of our biggest events. It's probably our biggest event, and it brings kids from all over, from Northwood all the way down to Ikatahuna. So we really get excited for this day and our work alongside Sport Manawatu and Sport Tararua as well. So yeah, with that, well, another big day for us was the Tararua Children's Day as well. And we're still looking for help and supporters around that. Again, as I mentioned earlier, our funding, we're very grateful for the funding that we received, the operational side from the Tararua District Council. We also received funding from the Lotteries Grant, Bush Rugby Park Trust, Central Energy Trust, and community fundraising. These funds also help us enable to continue and improve our facilities, along with expanding our programs and ensuring Bush Motorsports Trust remains a vibrant hub in the Tararua community. Probably one thing to point out for us was that our utilisation hours were down for the 23-24. This isn't based on that we weren't getting the numbers through the door. It was just that we had a few things like we were shut, our stadium was shut for 2 months with the insulation going up, so improving our facilities. And also we had bookings kind of coalesce into each other. So they definitely, have been there. So just wanted to point it out as well. Just probably the biggest thing for myself being new into this role is just working around the strategies with the board and making sure that we have those ongoing relationships as well. The relationships are really important, and also maintaining our facilities. We have been working on the completion of the dividing curtain. So that is hopefully then going to be completed in 2025 with the installation of the beams has gone in. So as well, again, being able to multi-utilise those facilities inside the stadium. We've been painting, well, not ourselves, but we've had our turf pavilion painted, and now that is used as corporate space as well. And we've had Tumiki go down into the downstairs part where the guides were. So again, we've been able to utilise both those spaces. Actually, today is a prime example, having both of those spaces booked out for corporate bookings. So that's really, really good. The rest of our upstairs in our lounge up there in our office space is getting painted as well. So nice refresh coming into 2025. And we're just continuing working on our strategic initiatives through planning and coordinated efforts. As I just mentioned, we've seen an increase in our corporate bookings in both facilities being used. Our community are very lucky. We've got a board with such high calibre of governance and really acknowledge the work that the board do behind the scenes. To mention two board members here today, both Jared and Raylene, so it's really good. They're always ready to help operational staff, and along with the board, we have dedicated operational staff that always go above and beyond in making sure our facilities are up to a good standard. So I'd just like to finish by thanking everyone here, especially my board members. I'm pretty new into this role. I was only there for a month of this report. So it's been a really team effort getting this report ready for you to read. And again, thank you to the Taranaki District Council, the Mayor, councillors and staff for your ongoing support and dedication to our facilities. And again, we look forward to continuing this relationship. Thank you.
Well done, Bex. Thank you very much. And it's a great report, so it certainly didn't come across that it got a whole lot of extra work. It read incredibly well, so well done. Is there any questions for Bex?
Sorry, Scott, I just want to, just on behalf of the board, probably a huge thanks to Bex. She said she's only been in this role since June, so she's done an amazing job. Us as a board feel very privileged to have a wonderful asset that we do have here in Waiatua, and probably have it so well engaged within our community. Like, we've got multiple codes, groups utilising that facility, and we like to think we run a very harmonious operation down there, and we are trying to expand our commercial entities with different things, so we can leverage to provide some greater infrastructure as well. So we wouldn't have that facility without council, so we're greatly appreciative, and obviously the ongoing support is great, and the ongoing support for our staff and our board members is greatly appreciated. So
Thanks, Joe. Excellent. Deputy.
Thanks, guys, for your report. It's always great to read your guys' report because it's so well utilised down here in Waiatua. So now I just want to check, now it's fully insulated in the stadium. Was there like a plan with heating, or was it?
It's like an ongoing discussion.
Ongoing
discussion.
Okay, that's it. Sorry. So we're just going to wait for the winter and see what it was like. See how it was. But there's a big difference, huge difference. See what it was.
I mean, I pay people down here in the winter, and I did notice it was only really when the doors were open that it was cold.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like when the doors are closed and it's all contained, it's actually not bad in there. Yeah.
And even our grassroots gym that utilise that space on a Friday morning, you know, they've commented that, yeah, no, it has made a difference. So that's very good, yeah.
Any other questions for Tracy?
Thanks, and it's good to hear that you are monitoring that, because your players, the stadium, when it was tied out to the out of town region before the marching display that they had from Mixed Daisies, and even they commented just on the additional warmth, like normally they'll have blankets and bits, they didn't need that this time. But that's not to say that the heating might not be, you know, because it would have been day too. So, but it's great to see that that's being now looked at from outside our region, you know, as a Wairarapa region. You know, they're looking to come and use it, it's easy access, so I can see that coming forward. But the way that Bush Multi is run, and I guess I take my hat off to the board, because every time an administrator leaves, and you've had some great administrators, another great one comes forward. So you're really lucky. And it just, yeah, the Bush Multi's just got layer upon layer of success. It's got really good foundation. So again, I know for Sport 102 and for Sport New Zealand, it's a model that's held up at a national scale for what they've achieved. So well done.
Thanks, yeah, Tracy. Councillor Jones.
Yeah, thanks, Chairman Scott. The curtain that you're talking about, is that to divide the stadium?
Yes, correct. Yeah.
Is the plan for that to be insulated? And sort of go to the roof so that you're only heating the area you're using?
I might pass that question on. Sorry, just because I'm just coming into this. Yeah.
Sorry. So there will be a bit of a gap up the top here, and then it will be.
There's not much point in insulating the curtains as well.
It is like a fibre curtain, so it's very heavy. So like if people run into it, it would, like, it's not going to fly open. It like a quite a weighted curtain, so down falls to down top of it.
Yeah.
But it also looks like you can hold functions in there if you wanted a bigger function.
Yeah.
If the town wasn't doing that to capacity, you can hold functions in there with the curtain and bed weight curtain. So events can be held in there too.
Good idea.
Yes. Any further questions? Thank you both very much, all three of you, for coming along. I always really enjoy the Bush Multi report because of the detail that's within it, but also the story that you tell. So thank you. We're really grateful for the work you do in providing such an important facility to our community. So I have a couple of recommendations on page 11. So 1.1, that the report from the Manager Democracy Services dated 19th of September 2024 concerning the Bush Multi-Sports Trust Annual Report 2024 be received, and that the annual report from the Bush Multi-Sports Trust from the period 1 July 2023 to June 2024 be received. Deputy Mayor moving and Councillor John seconding. Is there any discussion? I'll put the motion. All those in favour, please say aye.
Aye.
Against? Motion carried. Thank you very much. You're welcome to stay if you like to. Thank you very much, guys. Next up, I'd like to invite the Power and team for the sport for we can grab another chair if we need one. Just
Councillors, Mayor, Deputy Mayor, thank you for the opportunity to present our audio report at Sport 102. So
Just as a reminder, I'm Carl Johnston. I am the General Manager at Sport 102. And I thought I'd take the opportunity to bring in some of our staff, just to put some names to faces and provide some more detail around some of the services and stuff that we do provide to the community. So I have Victor Romano here. He's our funding administrator, and any funding sort of runs through Victor. He runs the Tamala funding, sports partnership funding, not rural travel fund, that's still run through Nakawa. And then we have Murray, who runs our health program. He's a team lead for health, which health active learning in the schools and that sort of stuff like that. So yeah, just sort of take this opportunity for any queries or questions that councillors or staff may have to pick their brains while we're here. And also Hinakawa, so Hinakawa, who is our community connector for the Sport Tararua space, is also here. So I'd just like to take the opportunity to reiterate our relationship we have with Bush Multisport. Like as you've just passed on, they've done a really great job as far as bringing Bex on board, and we have a really great working relationship. She's certainly helped us out with the Tararua students delivery, and Ange in the office as well is also a great little role model we've got there. So yeah, you guys got a great facility having that Bush Multisport. Just the amount of use and stuff, it was quite interesting reading the report. So, but if it's not for me, I'll pass over to Hinakawa to speak to our report.
Thanks, Carl. Kia ora tātou. I will take the report as read. I just want to highlight a few things. Firstly, again, a big thank you to Bush Multisport and Raylene for the support with the Tararua 7 tournament, Tararua 7-a-side tournament. This year we had 650 tamariki participating, 50 volunteers from both Tararua College and Edinburgh High School to umpire and ref all of our games. We had 17 primary schools participating and about 204 games being played on the day. And the sports we had was football, hockey, netball and rugby. I think that was a really big success. Yeah, and then I'll just pass over to my rep to talk about everything that happened in play week and everything it does in schools.
Good, call Murray Tupuinga. I'm going to help you out with the learning lead, and my role is to go and support schools in the Tararua, and presently we work in 8 out of the 18. There are 18 primary schools in Tararua, 2 high schools. So we work in high equity schools, and the offices used to be low decile. Schools. Low decile was 1, 2s and 3s. So we go in there supporting staff and also try and connect schools with the community, and also community with the schools. And just listening to Northwood and Paeatua, schools are the hub, can be the hub of those small communities. He talked about Angela, Hedy, Harina and Jackie. I work closely with them in the school, and they do it. The school is central to those small communities. Same with Paeatua, the big school here. They're sort of the driver behind the sports that happen down at the hub. The involvement the kids have there is great. And also our relationship with Bush Multisport, and maybe something like this could happen over in Edinburgh in the future. And I certainly will get behind that and support it. Next year we're going to take on 4 new schools, so that'll take it up to 12. We're going to Ekatahuna, Pongaro, Makuri, sort of running as one, and also the Twitter and Danny, which is because you have to speak to Reo to go to those schools. We have access to the Aotea club rooms next door, so we can work alongside that, and then they can go back into their schools, which is going to be great because that's one, the Kudas have been sort of left behind because we don't have that Te Reo speaking to go in there. So we've looked at ways we can accommodate that. I think it's a successful program. We're coming to the end of our first 3 years. They got funding. We're funded by Sport NZ. We come under the umbrella of Ministry of Health and Ministry of Health and Education. Education. So they've given further funding throughout the country to continue with that healthy active learning program. But, and we just finished Play Week, National Play Week, and there was a fund out, thanks to the Tūmanawa Fund. 5 of our schools applied for funding and got between $7,000 and $1,000 for some play activities for that week, last week. And also we got $1,000 for the Tara District Council play trailer to get more resources for the play trailer. Yeah, so yeah, and I work alongside with Hilikawa, trying to get community and schools working closely together. Excellent.
Thanks, Mary. One other thing that I'd like to highlight is that we have been working with, has been actively supporting the Bush Aquatic Trust with the pool and also our local skate park development team. And we have also submitted, feedback for the opposing the proposed hole for the whole road.
Good.
All staff did that. Well, so that was significant.
Another thing I'd like to highlight, we are aware that the Rural Travel Fund is well oversubscribed. So we are also looking at other opportunities to enhance the fund through other funding partners. And the other thing I'd like to highlight is the Healing Hotoma funds that we had available this year. In the current previous funding round, we had Pahia to a school supported and Doagini school supported for the Kapaka Festival that happened on the 19th of September. And it was a great success. The funding helped contribute to facilitator costs and for new kāpahu. And it was great to see that Pahia to a school actually achieved first overall, which was great. And the last thing I'd like to highlight is the upcoming community events we have. We have the Tauranga Sports Awards coming up that will take place in March. And we have the Good Sports Workshop that was originally scheduled for October, but is now looking at early next year.
And one this Saturday, there's the Widow Marae event, trying to get all the marae and the Tauranga together to come together with sport and just activities. So that'll be, that's kind of sort of looking at that iwi and hapu with the book, which I think is
Okay, thank you very much. Have you finished your report? Excellent. Do we have any questions for the team?
Do you have that conflict of interest or something?
Yes, feel free to.
Thanks for your report, guys. Another really good report to read, and because this is my field of that I enjoy. And I am competing this Saturday for Kaituki in the basketball.
Yes, go
Just look at active families, because that's probably one field I don't know a lot about. It says we've had 8 new referrals from the Tauranga district. Is someone able to talk about active families?
Loosely, it's not an area of expertise in my space either. Falls into a separate area, but it comes from the green prescription area. So they're referred to. We have staff members that come over here and either take them to a gym or use White Slash, aquatics facility, and it's basically getting people that are referred to from their GPs active in that space. So yeah, I can bring someone next time that'll be able to provide some more clarity in that area. And they come, hopefully that gives a little bit bigger picture.
Yeah, I guess it.
Do they work in?
You kind of just put me in a conflict. We've never had anyone in through active families, so it's kind of and then like in our gym.
In the gym, yeah.
But I just sort of I didn't know it was a gym thing as well. I just thought they got into sports and
range of activities.
Yeah, no. Is it active family or green prescription? Are you talking about?
I'm talking about active family.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Could I make a suggestion?
Yeah.
If we're not sure,
Yeah.
perhaps we could just get that emailed through.
Yeah, sorry, misheard you.
Oh.
Sorry, apologies.
That's right, and look at a conflict is important to note, we're not making any decisions on this, so it's totally fine to take part in the conversation. Is there any other questions for the team?
Just one.
Yeah.
The Stephen Soap tournament, I attended the previous year's tournament. It was a great day. And it was disappointed that I was unable to attend this year because somebody at Public Allergy organised a council meeting on 7 Osaka. So on behalf of council, I apologise for this.
We'll get that calendar sorted next year.
No, it wasn't that bad.
Yeah, we received a lot of positive feedback as well this year. It was a stunning day, beautiful bluebird day, crisp in the morning and warmed up, no wind or anything. So yeah, a lot of positive feedback from all kids. And it was great getting the kids from the Dennyberg High and Taraville College to carry out the officiating side of things as well. A large, all 50 of them, they've all played in that tournament in primary schools, and to be able to give back was a really positive initiative. One other aspect we did to that was we did an officiating workshop with them and provided some leadership skills and how to actually officiate a game. And some of these kids are not the most confident, but to build that confidence and making decisions. So it's sort of giving them some life skills as well. So it's such a positive event. And yeah, I can't speak highly enough. That was my first one, and I was blown away by the participation numbers and just the positive events that all came around through there. So and a good range of schools. With the winners, there wasn't one dominant school that just cleaned up everything. So yeah, it was brilliant.
Excellent. Any final questions? Well, Carl, Victor, thank you very much. It was actually great to have the wider team come as well. So
yeah, I'll
thank you
keep
for
doing this if you guys are
different
sort of areas.
It is really handy to just to hear some of those different perspectives as well. So thank you for making the time to do that. We'll just do a tiny bit of admin now of moving our motions. So on page 31, I'll do the two recommendations. 1.1, that the report from the General Manager, Strategy and Community Wellbeing, dated 29th of October 2024, concerning the Sport Tamarua quarterly report to September 2024 be received. And 1.2, that the quarterly report for Sport Tamarua for the period of 1 July 2024 to 30 September 2024 be received. Do I have someone move that? Councillor Long and Councillor Sutherland seconding. Is there any discussion? All those in favour, please say aye.
Aye.
Against? Motion carried. Thank you very much, guys. Thank you very much. Really appreciate it. You're welcome to stay if you like, but you're also welcome to. Really, please don't encourage him.
On my table.
Someone should phone one.
Yeah, that wasn't us. That was the second I got.
Oh, okay.
Whether that was the previous place. Somewhere.
All right, team, what we might do is, it's quite warm in here and I've been trying to play around with the temperature. We might just take just a quick 10-minute break, if that's okay, and we'll be back here at 20 past, so 20 past 2.
No, I only found out that Doris was doing it for work tomorrow. She was sitting in front of us. She was like, hi, I haven't received any of the information for this meeting. Amy, what happened? She goes, how am I supposed to defend her? Talk on her behalf. I'm supposed to. I said, what? Because I actually didn't realise.
Welcome back, everyone. We'll move on now to item 8.3, which is our management report. So I'll hand over to Kata.
Thank you very much. I'll take the report as read. A couple of key updates that I'd like to bring your attention to, and it's 3.1, which is the structural changes. So this is really just to update you on the restructure we recently had, which saw the establishment of the economic development role, which is Colin Young's position, and the redeployment of Kimberly as a coordinator, partnership coordinator, and the redeployment for the recruitment of Grace into the structure and the district development position. We did go through the community plans, so you're aware of where they are at. The other item that I'd like to just touch on really is the contestable grants. So we are working through a much simpler process, which we'll present back to you for approval. So hopefully it'll align with your expectations. And the digital trailer, so the soft launch of the digital trailer during the Hunters Forum. So the aim really is for us to start using the trailer in a number of events and really finding ways of how we can use it for the community. It's a bookable asset, so it's something we can drive to the events and make use of as much as we can. Other than that, really, it's all around that the usage of our spaces. One update around the cemeteries, and that's the digitization of cemeteries. So that's going really well. So what we've done is we are trying to get all the cemetery information in a digital format. So we have completed the scanning or the mapping of all the plots in Magatunoka Cemetery. And we will extend Magatunoka Cemetery, and we will extend that work to other cemeteries in the future. So what we are looking at really at the end of this project is that we have access to cemetery information online. Community or people can use an online tool to do a very warrant, and so it's much more automated and streamlined. So we try to get rid of all the admin and all the manual processes. Yes, any questions, please let me know. These are the key updates.
Kick off, Councillor Long.
Through you, Chair. Councillor Hill, the Alfreton Road Cemetery. Could I have just a tiny bit of an update on that, please?
Could you just refer to
page 59?
Thank you. That's all right. Sorry.
So the update is really just that we are in conversation with the external museum group to see how we can move forward with that. That's the latest update really. So nothing has started yet, still discussion.
We might, councillors, just run through page by page and see if there's any questions. Sorry, I should have said that at the start. So having a look, page 49, is there any questions on 49? Page 50, questions or comments? Page 51. 52. I did just want to make a comment on the funders forum. So I've received some really good feedback from people that went along to that. Another item where there's a huge amount of work that goes into it, but for us to be getting some of these nice to haves. It's an incredibly important event to connect people to funders. So congratulations to the team on that. Page 53. Sorry, Councillor Franklin.
Thank you, Chair Scott. I just wanted to add to the Funders Forum and offer you a congratulations on how excellently, I don't know whether that's a word, how well you actually chaired that Funders Forum. It went off extremely well, and I think you certainly, the first part where you spoke with those funders and got the information out of them, and the whole thing just flowed from there. It was really well done. So I just wanted to say thanks for that.
Thanks, Councillor Franklin. Councillor Franklin, we are hearing you quite quietly. When you're speaking, are you able to perhaps just try and speak closer to your iPad? I think it's a technology thing here with the sound, but just to note, because you're coming across a little bit faint.
Oh, okay. I am a little bit faint at the moment. Sorry. And I'm not normally quiet. Is that better?
Not substantially. We'll make do. We'll make do. Thanks,
okay.
Councillor.
Okay.
Page 50. Sorry, Councillor.
Page 53. Funding application September. There's across the ages a day and time event Ekidahuna. Could I have an explanation of what that is?
Through you, Chair, I can answer that.
Yeah, thank you very much, Kimberly.
Through the age, across the ages, a day and time is an event that's being organised locally in Ekidahuna and looks to replicate sort of Renaissance type events. It's looking at celebrating periods of history in the local area from 1800s through to now. Looks at different styles of weaponry and games and things like that. So they might have some jousting and some black powder events and other things like that.
And when is that to occur?
That is a good question. I'm sorry, I don't remember the date, but I can find that out and have that email.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Kimberly. Thanks, Councillor Long. On page 53, I just have one question, and acknowledge you might not be able to answer it directly, so it might be one to find out. In the digital spaces section 3.7, it talked about how often the hire equipment was utilised. I was just wanting to see if they are all external hires or if some of those are council internal hires. But acknowledging not know that.
Those are the equipment that are within the digital space. So they are council, not funded by council. You know what I mean? So that they are part of the digital spaces. Equipment, yeah. So cameras and
just thanks, Carter. To clarify, because they're hired out, what I'm curious to know is whether any of those are hired internally to council for council events, or if they're all, that 15 are all for external hires.
Can you answer that? Yes. Yep, so they have been hired for, so they hired laptops, tabs, and external entities.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. So that's been external. Right. No, that's a really good utilisation. Right. Very good. Page 54. Any questions on 54 or comments?
Yes, Chairman.
Sorry, yes, Councillor Wallace.
Yes, sorry, I tried to hit my little button there to acknowledge me to come in. But anyhow, yeah, 54, and I'll nick back to 53, but 54, a bit along the dates and times that people have been, there's a lot of interest in that digital trailer, and I heard that Is there going to be a bit of public? Sorry?
Can't hear you.
You can't hear me. Oh, well.
That's a bit better.
That's a bit better. I wasn't talking. Any, what about that? Can you hear me now? You hear me now?
It was good if you just speak loud.
Okay, it's all to do with the digital trailer, times and places that the public are going to see it, and i.e. cost figures going out because people are asking to hire it. That's the first part of the question. The second part of the question is the digital spaces. Is there any equipment hire coming out of Woodville? Is there a place on the website where we can go and give them a price?
Well, hireage is free for digital spaces for organisations. So there isn't a cost apart from a deposit, is my understanding. And I'll hand over to Carter about whether the digital trailer can be hired out. I don't believe it can be, but I'll pass that over to Carter.
Yeah, certainly. Thank you, Chair Gilmore. So that's something maybe for the future. Currently, it is just for council staff and councillors. It is not for the community to hire.
Thanks, Carter. Yeah, Tracy.
Okay, so that's fine. So I get that. So if there was to be a hui and somebody rang for a tangi, I mean, and sound was required, they could actually apply to the digital spaces and go that avenue.
Yes, for sound equipment through the digital spaces. Yes.
For a tangi.
I thought it was only for businesses.
Through you, Chair, we may need to just check on that and come back to you, Councillor Wallace. My understanding is that the equipment in digital spaces is available for the use of local organisations or businesses in order to deliver their services or programs. It's not for general community use. However, I could be wrong about that. So if we could have some time to go away, confirm that and come back to the committee, that would be great.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Chair.
Anything further, Councillor Wallace? Sorry.
No, thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Councillor Wallace. I'll go to Mayor Tracy and then Councillor Chase.
Thanks, Chair Gilmore. It was just in response to Councillor Wallace. There is incredibly high technology in the digital spaces trailer. I'm sorry, the digital trailer is largely used for civil defence. It will be used by staff going out into communities, but each of those are trained, so it won't be available for general community use.
Thanks for the clarification, Mayor Tracy. Councillor Chase.
Sorry, no, I'm good. I was actually going to ask what's the use of the digital trailer, which Mayor Tracy has answered for me, so I'm fine there. But my other question I would like to know, if you know, you say that it's for community groups and for business owners and stuff, would you see Marae Committee as a community group?
Councillor Chase, I think what we'll do is we'll get clarification of what the eligibility requirements are for the digital spaces equipment, and then come back if that's okay. But I think that's a matter of interest for us all. So
thank you.
Good. Just lastly for Councillor Jones.
Thanks, Chair Scott. My understanding was that the reason for building the trailer was to take the technology out into the community, not have it all based in wood. Seems that it's now gone a step further and it's been used for emergency. Is that right? That's right. When was that acknowledged?
Through you, Chair, I can answer that.
I can help with that too, but there you go, Kimberly.
Thank you. The funding for the Digital Spaces trailer was secured through two different funding contracts. One was an extension of the existing contract that we have for digital spaces through Ministry of Business, Innovation and Employment. The other half of the funding came from the Lottery Minister's Discretionary Fund. It was a funding application that was submitted just out of Cyclone Gabrielle to bolster that trailer, so it became not only a community mobilisation of services for digital spaces, but where needed, it could be used as an incident control point or communication centre during emergencies. And that became a high need during Cyclone Gabrielle, where we had certain communities we were cut off from in terms of communications, or we were needing a base of operations in that local community. And we were very fortunate to secure $75,000 through the Lottery Minister's Discretionary Fund for that purpose. So the trailer has a dual purpose.
So it is dual, not just.
And that was the funding and the business case for it. Absolutely. Good question. My final question, just on the digital trailer, or comment probably rather than a question. There has been some commentary that I've seen online which has suggested that the trailer was built out of town and sourced out of town. So as a comment, because it is very pleasing to see that it was, built by local contractors. When we are promoting the digital spaces trailer, or the digital trailer, referring to it, if we can keep just making sure we're sending that message, because I think it is a good news story. Let's jump on to page 56. Page 57. Page 58. Page 59. Page 60. I just have one on page 60, the pensioner housing update. Having a look at the Dannyvert line, where it's got the two that appear, or sorry, the three that appear not to meet the criteria. One of them has pets. Could I just get some clarification on that? My understanding was pets can be accepted into pensioner housing with approval from council. And I just wanted to double check the eligibility side there. And again, appreciate you might not have that to hand, but it would be handy to know.
Thank you. My understanding is that we do not allow pets. And I have that's my understanding. I need to go back and double check and make sure that's exactly what's happening.
We do have a policy for it, but I have been recently asked that by someone. I think it is a really tough one, because we obviously need to protect our assets, but we also, we offer a discount for companion animals, for the dog registration and for other bits. So just making sure we're really clear as a council. Perfect. Page 61. Yeah, Tracy.
Thanks, Chair Gilmore. And just in regards to CRM updates, the CRMs on pensioner housing, they are very high, and I just wondered if we could, get a little bit of information, common themes, or is this one particular set of housing, or because this all comes in, to both the cost of pensioner housing, but are we being good landlords? So just looking for, what are those common issues, because it is continuing high. Given that we give 82 units, there's 1 month, got 35, but as an average, we sort of always up in that, really those by 20, sorry, 20.
Yeah, 3 years people are when thinking about a big thing.
Cool. Thanks for that, Tracy. I think it'll be really interesting to to get a bit of an understanding on. Page 62, 63.
Yeah, if somebody in one of the units phones up and says, look, I've got a leaking tap, wash up with it, or a light bulb changing, is that done through a CRM?
Yeah.
And, something else really, I mean, is there a person who handles these things for the flats and each of the towns?
Yes.
That's how it's working at the moment. However, we are reviewing and trying to things like bulb being locked out or keep change or anything like that. We're going to try and make the tenants responsible for this because you're right. Sometimes we get called to just change a curtain or change a light bulb and make the CRM. Yeah.
It is. Sorry, Carter. It is handy having them as a CRM because then at least we can see how many inquiries are coming up, especially as we make decisions about pensioner housing. I mean, even if they are very, very minor, it still does seem like an incredibly high number of contacts with the landlord. So I find it
constantly going in and doing these things.
Exactly. So it's, it is council effort to resolve every one of those. So it's good to see them there, but it'd be great to get some kind of themes. Cool. I think we're at page 63. Councillor, thanks.
I was just going to wait because this crops up here. So, pension housing salaries, but I mean we have a lot of these. We don't have any. 162 we don't have any of these. 1 or 2. But I think I just wonder how when we enter into arrangements with pension housing, just what responsibilities actually are in place. Because I think it'd be pretty real simple. I think most of those would be simple across the whole line of those public conveniences, set toilets, and you can guarantee what it would be. But let's go back to pension housing. So they would be light bulbs and a sticking, a leaking tap, and all sorts of things. It's just when we revisit pension housing, maybe we should, or the team should revisit just what the terms of an agreement are, isn't it? The tenant should be looking at the light bulbs and wiring bits and pieces because they're getting cheap rent. Just a comment.
We'll see what other councils do.
Sorry, Councillor John, so I'll just let to respond. My understanding is some of that work is already happening.
Yeah, that's correct. We have started looking at all our contracts for all our assets and see how we can really define those responsibilities because all those nice to haves, they should fall on the tenant or not on us as a council. And we are also trying to consolidate the contracts. It's a lot of work, but we have started doing it.
Decades of behaviour that's sort of things.
Thanks, Chair John. And I guess that's where my question, I was seeking to understand what those CRMs were, because pension housing still must be self-funded, so all of us does come at a cost and just understanding what that is and how that's being applied. So I'm really looking forward to the wonderful site.
Thanks. Excellent. Councillor Johns, did you have anything to add? No. Page 64. I just had a really quick, I think I've asked this before, but at the top about Facebook posts, the last 2 bullet points talk about the private messages that come through and the CRMs that are coming from that. I suppose my question with this is, we have, communications experts, doing their role. Would it be more appropriate for some of these CRMs to be dealt with by customer service staff to try and free up our communications staff? It seems like a lot.
So the only thing I'm thinking about is that the access to the Facebook page and private messaging, the access is through comms. And so comms, you only want to get access to the Facebook page and then they filter through us and create CRMs or send it through the customer service or whatever they need to send it. So relaxing to really have customer services have access to the Facebook page. Yeah.
So if I could, just as a quick follow-up, I absolutely understand that. I've worked in this space before with different organisations, and you're right, you don't want just anyone to have access to the Facebook page, but there is absolutely technology available that would filter and automatically send those messages. So all they could do is just do a response on a private message. They couldn't do anything else on Facebook and like the CRM. And I worked for a railway company in the UK and implemented the system, and that was a number of years ago. And it was for exactly the same purpose, where that used to go through communications staff, but they weren't the best people to be dealing with it, and we filtered it through to customer services staff that needed to be trained. So I know it's not an easy one, but I know that our comms team is under pressure. You know, we do hear that. That's quite a significant amount of work. So I thought I'd raise that, and I'm happy to share some of those examples privately of what they look like in a different organisation.
So actually, but unfortunately that relies on institutions which rely on the budgets and which we can't automate and we can't innovate and quite a lot of our processes.
Maybe we'll talk offline because it doesn't cost much. It's pretty cheap. Anyway, we can take that offline. I'm happy to share some of my experience with that, Councillor Jones.
Yes, got the direct debit issue comes to mind when somebody phoned up or comment was made on Facebook. You can't just have anything of body on the counter or whoever responding to that. There needs to be an agreed comment made.
Yeah.
So I'm not quite sure.
So it's not just for clarification, it's not posting on the Facebook page. This is just private messages. So it would be in effect the same way as if someone sent an email to council that doesn't go to communications to be answered, or a phone call doesn't go to communications to be answered. It's an individual two-way communication that isn't public. So that's where the differential.
I don't do Facebook, so that all works.
I sadly do. Mayor Tracy.
Cheers, Mark. I guess, and thank you for bringing up those two bullet points, because when I read that, so we had 52 private messages, but only 17 of those turned into CRMs, but all 52 were responded to. I guess for me, and they would be responded to, within quite a timely manner versus somebody that's ringing customer services. And I guess, the reason it sort of flagged with me is that that's all private, but it's all vulnerable. So who actually oversees what is being dealt with by private message, or how things being escalated, are there any concerns there, what sort of things are coming through. And I guess I did, the reason I raised that is because there's quite a bit being asked on the Facebook that it's responded to far quicker than a bit, as it comes through, and even from the South, I'm trying to get information. So it's just something that I'm keen to understand a little bit more of how that's being captured. Is that being recorded within council, within our systems? If to say someone was to record, it's like, what private messages has council received? So just looking for that little bit of transparency. So it was just a flag that I asked myself. I don't know the answer, but I just, that's almost only a third of those private messages turned into CRMs. That was all.
Thanks, Mayor Tracy. So over to page 65. page 66. I just have a quick question at the top. So great to see item 6, the engagement calendar. Is there any reason why so much of it doesn't have anything plotted against it? So I see we've got a huge amount of items, but a lot of them don't have any sort of consultation time plotted against it.
Through checking more, I've asked for this to start. I asked for us to start documenting how much we do and engagements and a calendar of this sort. So what I asked for is initially to capture anything that might need us coming up that might need a consultation on engagements. So there's an updated version of this. This is a living document. And Angela is responsible for maintaining this, liaises with the leader of each initiative and gets the up-to-date information on the review of consultation. That's probably the reason why some of the members from just she hasn't been liaised with them, but she knows that that particular initiative may need engagement, or it's just a next step of going through each one and making sure that she has the right information.
Okay.
And there are at least a couple of updates as of last week to this. The important thing for me was that we capture what might need an engagement or consultation, because that signals to the comms team that they need to start getting involved in these initiatives and start thinking about the comms plan. And then through the engagement with comms, the dates gets finalised.
And look, I'd be keen to see that populate in future meetings, because we have a huge engagement work program happening. Like I do hear out in the community people being concerned about consultation fatigue, so it's engagement fatigue. It would be really handy, and I know that probably some of that will fit a bit more succinctly within the strategy committee, perhaps. So looking forward to seeing more. Have a question from Councillor Wallace.
Yeah, thank you, Chair. Scott, just going back on page, I'm toppling the thing, but anyhow, it's to do with Nintendo. I see the actual, there's 953 users. Can they give us a percentage of what the possible users could be? I'm just trying to think that's really.
For Wallace? Oh, 63.
Yeah. I imagine that app is costing us money, and the uptake at 953 is not a lot. So does that beg the question, are we putting it out there that it's not being advertised correctly or something?
Through checking more, my understanding is that has increased dramatically. So 953 is a very high number in comparison to previous months.
Yeah, to be fair though, anything that's increased is increasing. But what I'm asking is, what is the percentage of possible users to users? Is it 1% or 10% or 20% of our ratepayers are using it? Or it's not ratepayers in this case, it's actually of the 21,000 that live here.
Do you want to respond to that? Or so, Councillor Wallace, 953 is a number that will be growing. I try and go out and promote Antenno as much as I can, and when people get comfortable with it, they will join and use it. When we look at our ratepayer base, 10,000 ratepayers, around 10%, population, probably about 5%. Absolutely a number I would love to see grow, because it gives us the ability to push messages out to people. There will be some people that are just never going to be comfortable with an app-based system. But I suppose using that as a question, Carter, are there plans to continue to promote Antenna? And at the moment, is it seen by the team as being a cost-effective medium?
Food checking, well, yes, absolutely. The intention is that we continue to grow their use of Antenna, and it becomes the main really app to use for raising issues. Yes. Yeah, definitely.
Do you have any follow-ups, Councillor Wallace?
Yeah, that's probably more the question in the same gap, Chair Scott, is that the projected growth of that is where we want it to be. So if that's what's happening, that's where we're at then. So let's hope that keeps projecting at the right rate. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Wallace. Let's jump to page 65. Oh, sorry, we're going there. We're a few pages ahead. So 67. Just a quick comment. Good to see the library opening hours going up. So it's been good to see the percentage of opening hours trending up. I know we had some challenges early in the year, so it's really encouraging to see. Page 68. 69. Page 70. Just on page 70, and appreciate this isn't directly in your area, Carter. I did notice on the call statistics that there was a really large spike in calls in September. Calls were tracking for the last few months lower than usual, and they spiked up. Do we think that might be related to the direct debit issue, or is some other reason?
Food checking, well, we put Sandy online, she might be able to answer that question.
Thank you. Yes, that's Sandy, if that's okay.
Thank you. Yes, that's exactly the reason.
Perfect. Thank you. I just wanted that clarification. And then just to commend the team, Sandy, in the abandoned calls section, incredible to see such a sharp spike in calls and abandonment rates actually stay really low. So, we were really committed to answering these calls as much as we can, but the statistics are showing what a good job that the team did on that. So thank you.
Thank you. Yes, we did have support from our PNCC after hours service for some of our BAU calls during that time as well.
Excellent. Thanks very much, Sandy. Page 71. Just a question on page 71. This might be through to Sandy as well. I just noticed the service centre flow monitoring report only covers Dannevirke and Pahiatua. Is there plans to include any of our other service centres into that?
Yes, there is. So this has now been rolled out to all sites, including our libraries, and they will all start reporting these types of statistics.
Brilliant. Thank you very much. And page 72. Any questions or comments on page 72? All right, let's go back to the recommendation on page 49. And thank you very much, Carter. Thank you very much, Sandy, for the information. So the recommendation that the report from the Group Manager Strategy and Community Wellbeing dated 30th of October 2024 concerning the management report be received. Could I get someone to move that, please? Councillor John, seconded Councillor Long. Any discussion? All those in favour, please say aye.
Aye.
Against? Carried. Thank you very much. And moving on to our last item, and I'm not sure who we've got to present this. Raj, so we're moving on to our capital program report. So I'm informed that Raj will be leading this, so I'll hand over to Raj.
Thank you, through your chair. Mike sent his apology that he can't make it. He gave me a text today whether I could step in and talk to and answer any questions the committee has got regards to his capital report. Two parts to his report. One is the main body of the report, and then the attached capital projects dashboard or reports. So I'll take the report as read, the main body of the report as read, and answer any questions that that the committee has got of the main report. Then I can walk through each of the three attached individual project dashboards.
Excellent. Thanks, Raj. We'll run through this page by page as well. So page 73, 74, just making sure page 75, page 76. On page 76, Raj, just the Carnegie project, it's the first in the project list. It says a report to be submitted to council. Just wondering if we have a date for that. Appreciate that it's a hard question to ask you when you're filling in, but do you know whether we have a date on when that's due to be reported to council?
Through your chair, I can't commit a date, but the last time when we had the project team meeting with Mike and his team, there was a desire to bring a paper very promptly back in front of council to give not just a status update, but a report so that we can move that project forward. I think the last update that the team gave was that they're still trying to work with Heritage New Zealand on some of the requirements that they have to meet regards to some questions they raised as to what options we have explored or will explore regards to the Carnegie building. That's the last bit of work that they had to do. So I can't commit a date, but I can show you the team is quite keen to bring something forward. But I think what I could do is that I can follow up with Mike regards to the definitive date, and I can update the committee.
Thank you. I'd appreciate that, Raj. Page 77. I just have a request on this, Raj, if it can be sent through to Mike, for the new Pahiatua pool project that's listed. I wonder if we could please have project sheets added to that so we can have some more information. I know there might not be a huge amount yet, but it is a really key project in the long-term plan. So it'd be great to see budget, how things are tracking and timelines. I'm sure he already has a project sheet. It'd just be handy if that's from now included.
Through your chair, yes, I agree, and I'll pass that on to Mike.
Thank you very much. Anything else, councillors, on page 77? Okay. So we're moving on to the project sheets, Raj, so I can hand back to you for the project sheets if you like.
Thank you, through your chair. Three project sheets. The first one is the urban design. If you recall, we did what we call a reset workshop with council to redefine the intent and the project plan. We've done that. We've pulled together a project plan. We had our first catch up following that reset with the councillors with Positively Woodville yesterday. I'm attending the meeting from this evening in Pahiatua, and then following that will be Dannyburg and Northwood. Our intention is to engage and work very closely with the community and community boards in this project. We have proposed tentative dates, public drop-in sessions for Woodville, Dannyburg, and Northwood. We'll work closely with Ekatahuna and Pahiatua as to how they would like us to progress this project to them. It was very pleasing this morning to see the community plan being presented by Bahatua and Oswald. So those plans go a long way in helping us to inform the urban strategy that we're trying to pull together for the major towns. So the project has commenced. What we intend to do as part also, I think a question was raised in Woodville as to what is the, I think I can't remember who was it that raised a question about the budgets or costs associated with the project. In here, Mike has disclosed the overall budget allocated to this project. We are working through is how we can redefine and confirm specifically for the last leg of this project. We've completed the growth strategy. Now we're looking at urban design. So we're trying to ring fence what the cost would be. And hopefully at the next project sheet, we can specifically identify what the cost is going to be. And if any budgets remaining, if there's any budgets remaining, what our options are there. So any questions on this project?
Yeah, thanks very much, Raj, and thank you for committing to provide that information to Positively Woodville, and thank you for coming along to that meeting last night. Is there any questions on that project or comments? No. Hand over to you to the next one, Raj.
Thank you, Chair. Next one is the digitisation of council records and introduction of e-services. The digitisation of council records has commenced, contract awarded, they did a trial, and they have now uplifted all our building packets, and they have commenced the process of digitising those records. We have put in place also a process to QA those documents. So that's well in progress, and I believe time frame to complete all the digitisation would be early next year. We also have commenced in parallel what we call the digital solution, meaning looking for exploring, going out to the market to procure for the solution in which we're using to, I would say, the web-based solution where community can then log in and have a look at their building packets digitally. So that's in progress. Our objective is that once the digitization of the records are done, we will then have the tool to actually facilitate that engagement with the community.
Thanks, Raj. Any questions, Deputy Mayor?
Thank you, Chair Bill. Branches. So after March 2025, they'll all be digitised records for properties. So will they be available from that date? Or is that part of the part 2 up until 2027?
Through your Chair, that's the intention. Though we have the project end date at 2027, this includes the introduction of e-services. So just specific for the digitization of the building packet, building records, the contract is up to March 25. And that's why we want to also explore at the same time the software or the web-based software that we could use to enable public to actually have access to their records. So we're hoping by end of the year that the building digital records would be available for public to access digitally.
Sorry.
Yeah.
So from the end of the year, hoping that we should be able to access them online.
Yep, that's the plan that we have. The whole entire project includes the e-services. If you recall, we paused the e-services because we didn't know what the cost is going to be for us to do the digitization of building records. To us, that was the priority. Now that we've gone onto the market, we know what the cost is. Then we have a process in which how we've identified the priority two projects, and we've identified them, and then the PMO is going to start progressing those e-services.
Oh, that's,
and those.
So that's awesome to hear. Just at the last meeting, councillors meeting that we had in Denver, we had some real estate agents come in because they're struggling to get the information quick enough. And having to wait the 20 days for the turnover. So now I can go back to them and let them know that they haven't got long to wait.
Yes.
To make it happen.
Yes. Yep.
They can join their colleagues in Woodville to have similar challenges.
Thank you.
Thanks very much for that, Deputy Mayor. And any other questions on digitisation? No. Any questions on or Raj, I'll hand you over to the third project sheet.
Thank you, Chair. The last one is building EV capacity. I'd like to commend the PMO is doing an amazing job in this space in setting up the structure. Now we're working alongside our two EV partners in helping build capacity, not just capacity, I think in better engagement with council. Project is progressing really well, on track, on budget.
Thank you very much. Councillor Chase, I see you've taken your microphone off. Do you have a question or a comment?
No, sorry, I'm not too sure.
No, that's fine. I'm trying to watch the screen as much as I can, which is a challenge. Any other questions on building EV capacity? No? Brilliant. Thank you very much for stepping in on behalf of Mike, Raj. So we'll just jump back to page 73. The recommendation is that the report from the Manager Programs and Projects dated 23rd of October 2024 concerning the capital program report being received. Do I have someone to move that? Councillor Sutherland, seconded by the Deputy Mayor. Any discussion? All those in favour, please say aye. Aye. Against? Motion is carried. Councillors, that brings us to the end of the meeting. I'm just doing a very quick check to make sure I haven't missed anything. That brings us to the end of the meeting. So thank you all very much for your attendance. Thank you. Councillor Johns.
That email with the toilets in Dannyburg.
So we'll just end the meeting. So finish the meeting.
Bye.